Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel where we do talk all things true crime. My name is Tanya, or TitaniumBuilt, whichever you want to call me. Thank you for joining me for yet another upload. I wish this was better news actually for this upload, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be good news. We are going to be discussing the Shanquella Robinson case today. If you guys haven't already seen my previous videos going over this case into detail and a timeline, I do have a playlist. So if you'd like to check that out, it is available. Also, just pray for her family. If you guys do prayers, please just say an extra prayer for her family. We are talking about, like I said, Shanquella Robinson. She went on vacation with her so-called friends, ended up coming back deceased after being beaten to death. She had a broken neck, broken back, the whole nine. Now they're saying there is not enough evidence to pursue criminal charges here in the United States. So what was happening was, and this is all on video, let me tell you. So the incident is on video, so there's no disputing what happened that night. It's on video. I don't know why they're saying not enough evidence. That's bullshit. Just sorry, but that is. The guy that recorded it, he was on TikTok the following night or Instagram Live or whatever have you, talking about it like it was nothing. I'm just sorry, but it's getting really old seeing these beautiful people being killed and nothing being done about it, I feel like. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play the video. This is from Law and Crime, so go ahead and let me know your comments below in the comments. I love to read them, so let me know what you guys think of this case.
Shanquella Robinson was killed last year while she was on vacation in Mexico. It's an incredibly disturbing case. I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime's Sidebar Podcast. The U.S. Department of Justice has announced that prosecutors will not file charges in the United States for Robinson's death. Robinson was on vacation at a luxury property in Mexico last October when she died. A video posted online showed her being attacked by another woman who she was traveling with. An autopsy performed in Mexico found that Robinson died as the result of a severe spinal cord injury, and Mexican officials have called it accidental or violent. Mexican officials have said previously that they are investigating Shanquella Robinson's death as a femicide, which is the intentional killing of a woman because she is a woman. Mexican authorities have also issued an arrest warrant for a suspect, but it's caught in some international red tape. Joining me to discuss the case is the attorney representing the family of Shanquella Robinson. She is Sue Ann Robinson. She is someone who's been on Law and Crime many times before. So, Sue Ann, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Anjanae.
This is so, there's a lot to this case, a lot of layers since Shanquella was killed in Mexico, and now you're dealing with officials here in the United States. First of all, tell us how and why U.S. officials, the federal government, could have filed charges against a suspect here in the United States for a crime that happened in Mexico.
Well, there's very specific statutes that permit the federal government in the United States, if a United States citizen commits a crime, a murder against another United States citizen, even if they're abroad, they can be charged with murder in the United States. The United States conducts their own investigation to a certain extent. They can ask for concurrent jurisdiction to investigate in the other country, like work in conjunction with the law enforcement in the other country, and then they can bring a murder charge in the United States, even though it was committed abroad.
Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office there in North Carolina has said that charges will not be issued, no one is going to be charged under the U.S. system for Shanquella's death. When they could have done so, they did their own investigation and claimed that the autopsy showed something different as the cause of death. Is that correct?
Well, they've officially said that the cause of death has been undetermined by their autopsy. So undetermined cause of death for them has led to them saying, we're not going to file murder charges, which, you know, to myself and to the family, it seems like there's a piece missing between undetermined. We all see a video where she's being assaulted and then obviously her finally passing away. So in our opinion, we think that the perpetrators of the crime, it's right on video. Mexico has completed an investigation and identified an aggressor. And, you know, my position is, had the U.S. authorities taken the case seriously from the very beginning, I think that the autopsy itself would have been conducted in a different manner. Right now, the U.S. authorities are kind of saying, well, our autopsy says something different. Well, it absolutely will say something different because their autopsy was done after the body had already been embalmed. Why was that? Because they did not take the case serious enough to take swift action. So by the time they got involved in the process, the family had already reached out to a private funeral director to get the body from the morgue, to transport the body, to prepare the body to be transported. So those are standard things that a body that's being transferred from another country has to happen, but not when it's part of a transnational criminal case where the U.S. authorities are taking it serious from the beginning, because obviously they could have coordinated with Mexican authorities to have their own doctor there in Mexico doing their own secondary autopsy, or specifically ordered for it not to be embalmed, or whatever number of things that the federal government has resources to do in a transnational criminal case. That was not done in Shanquella's case.
It's a really disturbing case, and you know we know the video is right there. The video doesn't lie. The Mexican authorities have determined that the crime of femicide was committed, that Shanquella was murdered simply because she was a woman, and that she was murdered by a woman. So it seems pretty, you know, like there's a good amount of evidence here. The differences in the autopsy it's still a little confounding to me, especially since that first autopsy was conducted right after she was killed. So talk to me a little bit about the red tape here, because there is an arrest warrant for a United States citizen sitting on somebody's desk somewhere. So tell us what the holdup is.
Right. I think, and, you know, I believed from the very beginning when I got involved in the case that it's unfortunate that this family has had to carve their own path to justice. I mean, for Salamandra to be grieving a child, just burying a child, dealing with all the things that come along with that emotionally, physically, mentally, and then also at the same time having to be seeking out legal counsel to assist her in fighting for justice for her child. And I thank her every single day, and I admire her strength. And it reminds me of, you know, Miss Wanda Ahmaud Arbery's mother, Sandra Bland's mother, people who had to go and beg and fight for dignity and the constitutional rights of their children. Even in their children's death, their kids weren't being afforded the same kind of prosecutorial victims' rights that any other U.S. citizen was afforded. So what the red tape is, to me, I don't call it red tape necessarily. I just feel like there's two separate systems happening. For whatever reason, you know, Shanquella Robinson's case was not prioritized. It actually was the people's case. Social media kind of put fire behind this case and brought the case to, you know, attention. And then media kind of started rolling in and covering it. But we absolutely sent correspondence to the president, to the Secretary of State to say, hey, listen, this is not an internet hoax. This is a real family. This is a real case. Here's the documents that I obtained on a fact-finding mission to Mexico from the Mexican Attorney General, you know, indicating that an investigation was done, that they've sent these documents through the proper extradition procedures. So we said at our press conference in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, the ball is in your court. To the administration, we need a high level of diplomatic intervention. We need someone to basically go down and say, hey, the Shanquella Robinson case was sent. Where is it? It needs to be reviewed so that we can move forward in the process. So now we're at the point where we were asking for either the U.S. authorities to prosecute under U.S. statutes, or for them to permit the extradition to go through based on the Mexican investigation. The U.S. authorities have declined to prosecute. Do we agree with it? Absolutely not. Can we all see with our own eyes on video what Shanquella's cause of death was? Absolutely. But if they've chosen not to press charges, we are saying, well, get out of the way, prioritize the approval of the extradition, and let the responsible parties go and deal with their fate under the Mexican laws and the Mexican criminal justice system.
You had mentioned when we were talking off camera about Interpol that the Mexican authorities have kind of done their part. So it is, as you just said, kind of in the balls in the court of the United States. I mean, what can people do to help speed this process along? Because it would seem to me, you have legislators in North Carolina, where Shanquella was from, who could be assisting with this process. It just seems like it might be an unnecessary holdup.
Absolutely. It is absolutely unnecessary. And, the fact that the family has been having to go through all of this, to me, is so disheartening, obviously as a lawyer, having 16 years experience, but it's not something, even though yesterday was very hard and very disheartening and very discouraging and very disappointing from the family, we're not deterred. I'm telling the family, listen, you don't have to be deterred by this, because we've seen this before. And like I said, Miss Wanda had to physically go to the state attorney's office. She had to go seek out legal counsel to have charges brought in Ahmaud Arbery's death. That was a Black mother saying, no, there's something more here. You need to keep investigating. Same thing with Sandra Bland. And even I talk about the George Floyd case only because it was on video. And I remember the defense fashioning this theme that what we were seeing wasn't actually Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck. It was actually him having a heart attack or a drug overdose. So it reminds me of that, because we've all seen the video, right? But the U.S. authorities are saying it's something else. It's undetermined, so we can't file charges. So we're disappointed, but we're not deterred, and we're still pushing forward with asking the U.S. authorities, putting pressure on the U.S. authorities to have that intervention, to prioritize authorizing the extradition.
The Biden administration is in charge of the federal government right now, the Department of Justice. It's run by Merrick Garland. So this is an administration that is supposed to be sympathetic to people of color and to the challenges that they've faced and the discrimination over the years. Do you believe if Shanquella had been white, that this person would have been extradited by now? Do you think this holdup is because she's a woman of color?
I think that the case wasn't taken serious in the first place has to do with that, for sure, because there's a lot of journalists that opine about missing white woman syndrome and how certain cases get more media attention and get more, the families get more resources and people rally around them more. And, that is a fact of life, unfortunately, for, people like my, I'm saying, listen, I know that, you may have watched the Natalie Holloway case, and we all our hearts still go out to the Natalie Holloway family. But we watched a question every single day being asked in the White House press conferences. What's happening with the case? What's the position on the case? What's new? What's the new news? What's the administration's position on the case every single day? And so we just didn't get that same energy for Shanquella's case. But we're hoping now that, with everything that we're doing, with the rally that we're planning on making, we're hoping that we don't get to the 200th day since her death without action being taken. But if that does happen, we are prepared to go to Washington, D.C. and rally, because it's only right. Her family isn't asking for anything different or anything special. They're asking for the same rights that any other U.S. citizen who a crime was committed against abroad should have. I mean, our administration, any administration, does not want to send the signal that you can go to another country, commit a crime against a U.S. citizen, and then come back to the U.S. and say, I'm on base. I'm not going to get prosecuted. I'm not going to be held accountable for this crime because I've made it back to the United States. That cannot be the message that any administration wants to send.
You mentioned the family being disappointed. As a mom, I can only imagine what Shanquella's mother is going through. Her parents. So how are they doing?
Like I said, they have been aware that they have to put their shoulder to the plow from the very beginning, that they've had to carve their own path to justice, that I had to go to Mexico, that they asked me to go to Mexico in the first place. So they're very disappointed, upset, hurt, but in the fact that they're still prepared to fight on and keep going and do what they have to do in order to continue to fight for justice for Shanquella. So absolutely disappointed, concerned, and disheartened, but not deterred.
Well, we will continue to follow the case, Sue Ann Robinson, and hopefully getting the word out about this case will light a fire under some people. And our thoughts and our prayers are with Shanquella's family.
Thank you so much.
Incredibly sad. I really like their lawyer. She's able to explain things in a way where, everybody can kind of understand them. She's not really wordy, which I liked. So let me know your comment or your thoughts in the comment section below on this case. If you guys do like true crime, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to be alerted to all new content. Also, don't forget to thumbs up this video. That way it does get sent out to the algorithm and more people will see it. More people will know about Shanquella and her case. So thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another upload. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.